Ooh, wow.
All right, I'm good. Pardon me if I stink, because I just finished working out before I came here.
Smelly. Smelly boy.
Kind of ripe. Smelling like testosterone and shame.
As opposed to what?
Just shame.
You don't.
Or just shame.
It could be too much for some of these, for some horror fans.
I put it up there with Get Out, man.
Oh yeah, dude, 100%,
yeah.
100%. Eugene, I gotta ask you, as someone who saw it in '95, did it feel powerful back then as like a social message thing, like a social commentary?
You know what? Because a lot of the movies from that time that came out, all of these hood movies had all pretty much the same message. It was all the same message. So, yeah, yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. It helped convey the message of the black people being oppressed and the drug problems and the gang problems and the police brutality problems and just all of it. It did help bring it to light.
Yeah.
But again, it was just that this movie, like all those movies, were a product of that time. It just sucks that this movie is just as relevant now as it was back then.
Sure.
I mean, I'll even go as far to say like things are fucking worse now.
Oh, for sure.
For minorities and black people in general than it was back in 95.
Well, and you definitely have the rise of white supremacy now, with a lot of these far right rallies, the shit in Charleston, where that poor woman got run over.
Yeah.
I mean, this is stuff that is like becoming more prevalent. The racists are coming out of the closet, man. They're proud of it. You know what I mean? They're not wearing hoods anymore, bro. You know what I mean? They're wearing button downs and shit, bro. Tiki torches. You know what I mean?
Ridiculous.
So I mean, it's crazy that the times we're fucking living in, man. Like I can't. This is like a bomb going off this movie. You know what I mean? I'm really so fucking shocked, man. The way it turned out.
It's like when somebody puts on like a particular album. That like the first time I heard Evil Empire.
Yeah, it's like a fucking protest. It's like a protest. It's a rallying cry. It's a rallying cry.
What am I not paying attention to?
Yeah.
But then you realize like you're growing up like me. I'm growing up in a suburb of an all white neighbor, and then like you're not realizing the problems outside of it, right? And then I moved to Buffalo and I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like I am. Like those first couple of years, like I remember walking down the street, and this is Elmwood in 2003, 2002, and I'm like, it's still kind of seedy. It's like got a little bit of grit. It's not as gritty, I remember going downtown, and I was like, people would warn me, do not stop on a street named after a state or a fruit. Keep going. And I'm like, okay. So it's funny now that they're talking like kind of circling back to like that Candyman's talking about gentrification.
Yeah, Cabrini Green, baby.
That's something that Tales from the Hood could do with like a sequel.
Well, they did make a sequel, but I guess it was a turd. I haven't seen it.
It wasn't as good.
But like doing something, and I think that they kind of went down like that bad route of like.
Well, I don't think they had the budget. I don't think they had the budget to do.
Also, like the writing
was super low budget.
Yeah.
It's like VFW where it's like that authenticity. Like you can't write something like that you think is gonna be cool, like The Lodge.
Yeah.
Where it's like I think this will be cool. Where it's like no, I need to write a story that's gonna mean something to me.
And it was like Eugene was saying, this is such a time and place that it's hard to like have lightning strike twice. You know what I mean? It was such a product of the 90s that it's going to be very hard to do whatever it did twice, especially now, and especially in a post Jordan Peele world. You know what I mean? It's hard to do it, again. And so another question for you, Eugene. And on the show before, we've said, there's an issues with movies that have too much message in them.
Yeah, too much of a message.
This movie, Tales from the Hood, is all message. And it's all message. So I feel like that's one of the power of horror movies that I said before. It's like this Trojan horse. The movie gets us because it's a horror movie, right? And it's from the 90s. It's anthology. It's clearly a horror movie, killer dolls, things like that. But once it has us in there, it's bombarding us with social commentary. Now, what do you think, your own personal opinion and taste, what makes this movie more palatable than something modern that has a lot of messaging in it?
I think because this movie This movie, it's an unapologetic horror movie first and foremost. All right.
Oh, I see this now. So number one, it's a horror movie. That's his priority.
It's a horror movie. The priority is the horror, not the social commentary.
I think I understand it now. I think I'm getting it.
Nowadays, they start with the social commentary and then
try to fit a horror movie around it.
And try to fit a movie.
That kind of makes sense, Eugene. That kind of makes sense.
That's what I think. I mean, this movie entertained the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Back then.
How did none of us know it was like this explosive ass movie until 30 years later?
Yeah, it just goes to show like it's something that you're just like, yeah, I remember that, and you're like, no, my memory is fucked. Like I do not remember this movie being like this because it's like the dolls, or like
man, when he's hitting
the dad, David Allen Greer.
Oh, I know.
Dude, we haven't even talked
the monster.
about that.
Oh
like,
my god!
And I'm sitting there like, that is a beautiful metaphor.
Yeah,
that is a beautiful metaphor.
We did get a laugh when his body started to crumple, though. There was a laugh in the crowd for that one.
Yeah.
But I think it's the power of seeing things on the big screen with an audience. I mean, that's where like something like Terrors really comes into play because it can really have an effect on the way you experience your perspective of a movie for sure.
There is something about you turn off the lights and everybody's there to experience.
You're immersed.
This. It's not you're all watching a movie on your couch with a bunch of friends and everybody's like, oh, fucking da, da. And you're like, what, dude? Shut up! I'm trying to enjoy this movie.
Yeah,
like I know so many movies that have been ruined by friends that you're just like, dude, shut up! Like this is the sleepover. Like just shut up. Like.
This shit was like a Clockwork Orange, that scene when they have him with his eyes pried open and watching stuff. That's what like having these people in this theater was like watching Tales from the Hood. Like, you're going to watch this shit.
And I'm pretty sure that there's some people that came to the screening that saw the movie, and because I don't know whether it's guilt, whether it's what, I don't know what, but I'm sure they didn't like it.
Right.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
nobody wants to be.
People left and are like, come on, I came to be entertained, not to be fucking...
told a message, right?
But we were all we were just talking about how many fond memories we have of this movie. You know what I mean? It's still,
but like how many? But how many new people?
Everyone, everyone.
Yeah, and then there's like another thing, like because like the guilt part, right? Like I felt like no guilt watching this movie because I was like, no, I kind of know what I'm getting into, right? But like you were saying, I think it kind of shows that disconnect that people. Like a younger generation doesn't quite understand of like, this is a systematic dismantling of minorities of like the minorities in your community. And it is like, and they have been in this movie, you're seeing like they were told kill each other because you can't do this. And you're like, now they're realizing like we're killing each other. And I want to be the optimist and feel like that has kind of seeped in, and we're seeing a little bit less of black on black violence. Yeah. But like now we're seeing this uptick in racism that you're just like of white supremacy that you're just like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. It's scary,
it's
man.
like that's the scary stuff. Like that's the horror to me. Like that part. I'm like,
how timely it feels. That's the scary part. How relevant that should be scary for us. How relevant it feels.
This stuff has been here. That this art has been here. That they're like, guys, the blueprint to like prevent this shit is here, and you have been ignoring it. Yep. And I feel like
cleverly
that's
disguised as a horror movie.
Trojan horse, man. That's the power.
Horse.
Yeah,
that's a great way to put it, man.
And the symbolism, I think we talked about this before too, but with the racist politician, the way he's attacking the painting of the old lady and the slave dolls and stuff, the way he's like attacking the mural with the American flag, and the mouth of the grandma painting starts to bleed. And it's like, oh my God. And then at the end, when he tries to protect himself by covering himself in the American flag, it's like, wow.
There's so much
like holy fuck, man.
10 minutes. There like you could
you don't see that shit. No. I've seen this movie before many times, and it didn't hit me until I saw it like I was forced to pay attention, really pay attention.
Even touched on the police brutality.
Yeah, come on, man.
That I'm like, oh, Oh, that part was frustrating because like you forget, like you're like, no, I remember there's like this part, the dolls, there's the monster dad, like stepdad, whatever thing, and like the twist at the end, and then like that first story, you're just like whoa, like, and I know that that's like in direct correlation to like Rodney King, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah,
like for sure. But now you're like,
well, after like Trayvon Martin and all that stuff, it's like
it's ridiculous. Like it's just weird. Like it's not. It's almost like the movie, like like a lot of movies from back in the day, from the 80s, 90s, whatever. They're like time capsules.
Yeah,
yes.
And I love that aspect of movies.
Yeah, but it's like this movie's like it's a time capsule, but it's also not a critique, but it's almost like putting a mirror, on today's times. Yeah. Also, like it's fucked up because at first, I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw the movie, it's not that it was a throwaway movie for me, but I was like, all right, it's just, it's like another hood movie, but it's a horror movie. That's why I loved it. And I loved the movie from when I saw it. But again, it was just, you would think that Rusty Cundiff, he's the one who wrote and directed the movie. Like, this motherfucker was like he had his finger on the fucking pulse of what was going on.
Yeah.
And he still is. And just the fact that it's almost like he was fucking psychic and he knew that this shit was gonna.
Dude, Trump literally has like snuggled the American flag like the politician in this fucking movie did, man.
It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And it just. And you get it, and you hear some people out there, and you hear racist white people out there, where they're like, all right, black people, stop complaining, give it up, it's not that bad for you, motherfucker. It still is.
Right.
This was bad. 95 was what, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
25 years ago. Fucking 2.5 decades, and we're still going through having the same problems.
Yeah, right.
Or not we, but
as a society,
as a
society,
the same exact fucking problems that we were having 2.5 decades ago. And we've made no progress. As a matter of fact,
dude, the fact that Watchmen showed me a part of American history that I didn't learn about.
Black Wall Street. Yeah.
Black Wall Street. We finished that episode, and the next day I was like thumbing through like I wanted more because I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was hoping that it was fake because I was like, no, and like the fact that hadn't been talked about or taught is like, and like it's like the Japanese internment camps, like all this other stuff. You're just like, what? Why are we being sheltered? Like, and this is like. It's so funny how horror movies they're like they rip the Band-Aid off like no this is what's actually going on. And this movie in particular, Tales from the Hood, was almost as it was painted as if it was just another hood movie, right? And it was none of the above. It was nothing. So it's just so frustrating.
So speaking of like forgotten like American history, like regarding Black Wall Street, so I was listening to NPR Fresh Air, Terry Gross, because I'm an adult. I listen to fucking NPR. But there was an episode of Fresh Air. Its title, if anyone wants to look it up, it's called "The Murderous Coup of 1898 and the Rise of White Supremacy." So in the 1890s in Wilmington, North Carolina, there was like a mixed race community with a thriving black middle class, black aldermen, police officers, black newspaper. And so I'm just reading from the synopsis. White supremacists saw this as an abomination and plotted a bloody purge around the 1898 election. They rampaged through the streets, killing 60 black men and banished prominent black people and their white allies from the city. So I listened to this episode and it was like, how come I've never heard of this? You know what I mean? Like there was this like beautifully like harmonious society, like, and then obviously the white supremacists couldn't handle that, a successful black community, and they had to they staged a coup, man. Like they took it over with guns, man. And they had just lighting people up in the street, man. And
got away with it.
It's crazy.
That's the fucked up part.
Yeah.
Like that.
But society, the way they teach stuff, we try to skirt around, the blood that's in our soil, and that's not how you move on. Correct. You move on by confronting it, by like discussing it and making the right choices for the future, rather than like we're gonna fucking sweep it under the rug. You know what I mean?
I feel like we need more And we're getting that with like what Jordan Peele's doing. Like we're getting more of that.
But look what happens, bro. Every fucking time I post about Jordan Peele on my Instagram, and you can go look, somebody is in those fucking comments saying his movie sucks ass, the worst movie I've ever seen. You can say whatever you want about Get Out and Us, you know, maybe you didn't care for it, but there's no way on God's green earth that you could say Get Out and Us are the worst horror movies you have ever fucking seen.
Right.
There's no way. I have seen a lot of horror movies, bro. I have seen. I saw the fucking Lodge. I saw the fucking Lodge. You're gonna tell me the Lodge is better than the fucking Us? Than Get Out? Eat my fucking ass if you can say that like as a genuine comment.
Yeah.
Look at my fucking Instagram at Peter from the Theater. Every time I post about Jordan Peele, somebody's in that comment shitting on the dude.
Yeah.
You think I post about Ari Aster? You think I post about Robert Eggers? Someone's going to jump in there with that kind of hate?
No, they're not.
People can feel free to criticize Jordan Peele's movies because it's a way to be racist without being racist.
Correct.
Because you can go into the veil of that movie sucks.
Yep.
Right? But the truth is that you're not ready for that. It's like fucking Back to the Future when Marty McFly plays rock and roll and he's like, ooh, you weren't ready for that, but your kids are gonna love it. That was me playing fucking Tales from the Hood. You know what I mean? That's me saying that fucking Jordan Peele is the future of horror. You know what I mean? Because I'm excited about this shit, bro. Yeah. I'm excited as fuck for Black History Month, and I'm gonna fucking say it. That shit gets me excited, man. Candyman coming out, directed by a black woman. Tony Todd's back. I'm fucking pumped. I'm excited for a new, fresh thing that'll teach me things. I want to fucking learn.
Yeah.
I want to fucking learn. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to learn by seeing the same rehashed fucking story over and over again. Right. I'm not going to learn shit from Hereditary. What am I going to fucking learn from that as a person? Well, I learned a fucking ton from Tales from the Hood just by watching it again on the big screen. I'm ready, man. I'm ready to be out there, man. I'm not even going to say that, man, but I'm ready to fucking listen and I'm ready to fucking learn. You know what I mean? And I will fucking sing the praises of the black horror that we're going to talk about. You know what I mean? Because it's important.
So would you say like every February going forward, you're going to try and do that?
I mean, look, I played Tales from the Hood without even like mentioning it, mentioning anything about it. But like, I mean, I've had the chance to play Candyman. I've had the chance to play Tales from the Hood. So I'd love to keep that going with whatever kind of black, either black prominent movie, black directed, black written movie that I could. You know what I mean? So. It's just what's available, you know what I mean? I mean, clearly there's movies that we can talk about, but there's only, unfortunately, so many. You know what I mean?
That's the shitty part. Is like this movie. I feel like
I can't name one horror movie from a black woman. Until for this new Candyman. I mean, I can't. I literally can't do it. I'm sure there was the women in horror noir when we were watching that, but I don't remember what they made or whatever. But
they mostly talked to the actress that was in
The Craft, Rachel True. Yeah. I mean,
and how like when she said that line about like, "Are you okay?" Like she was always there to help the white lead. I was like, I noticed that. You know how it's like when somebody's like,
I gotta take my fucking jacket off. That rant got me hot, dude.
Like when somebody's like, like Volkswagen Beetles are my favorite car, and that's all you see for like the rest of your life is just that car or whatever, right? I feel like that's now all I hear when I watch movies. Is I'm just like, it's bullshit dialogue.
People tease me about like dying on all these hills, but I fucking believe in this shit, man. You can argue about my hill, but you can't say that I'm not a fucking passionate, devoted ass horror fan that lives and breathes this shit every fucking day. So when I say this, like these Jordan Peele movies are fucking important, or Tales from the Hood is a fucking revolution when you see it on the big screen with people, it's not because I'm fucking
falling for the hype.
Yeah. I'm like, this is like important. This is like an alert, man. Put this shit on your fucking radar. Jordan Peele sucks ass. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, and then it's also like there's other foreign horror that's out there. Like there's a Mexican horror film that I saw like with vampires that I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's like it kind of had a little bit of what's the one with Taititi or
What We Do in the Shadows.
It's kind of like that, but it's more like they're witches too and vampires in this movie. I'm gonna have to look it up and remember what the hell. I'll get back to you, Eugene. But like it's like just seeing like how these different countries go about making horror.
Well, and that's how you keep horror as a fresh, exciting genre, because the more new voices and new perspectives you have in there, the shit is energetic and refreshing now, because you're getting all these different stories you've never heard before, because the default is like Friday the 13th Infinity, you know what I mean? Like, let's see something fucking new, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
And also like an investment. Like, I feel like
believe in these.
I feel like that's why like Rusty was able to do such a great movie, because he was invested in that. I don't feel like you get that right now.
Man, I'm feeling
from white horror. From white horror, you don't get it from that.
No,
because it's just like, what's gonna make money?
Yeah, that's true. That's a driving force for a lot of movies nowadays.
But
what's going to put asses in seats and what's going to
the success of Get Out and Us shows that not only can you make a shit ton of money, but you can have the Trojan horse of like talking about race and social issues and get a bunch of people to see that fucking movie.
Yeah, I agree.
I will say what I liked about Tales from the Hood, in addition to all of that stuff, was Christopher Young's score.
Yeah. I mean, I mostly remember the 90s hip hop that comes in blaring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I fucking love that. The gangster rap shit. But we should also say, look, if you guys don't remember the art for Tales from the Hood, you're going to notice a little Easter egg in the artwork for Tales from the Hood that I have not noticed until I saw Daniel P. Morris's wonderful artwork for our screening. In the gold tooth from Tales from the Hood, there is a secret 666 on there. This is on the VHS art, the original theatrical poster, the Blu-ray, the DVD. Did I say VHS? And on the Terrace poster, there's been a 666 there the whole time.
Yep.
And Dan, a lot of people had not seen that before until I pointed out. I didn't know it was there until you made your art. Did you know it was there, Eugene? Yeah. I had no fucking idea. Yeah. I had no idea. I don't know why it's like blowing my mind, but I've had this movie has been in my life since the fucking 90s, and I had no clue that there was a 666 in there. For some reason, it's a big deal to me. It is. I mean, I can't lie.
That was awesome. It is a cool little Easter egg.
Yeah.
But, I mean, is it even like?
It's like debossed too on there. Like it's like imprinted on there.
It is. You can see it.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Way to go! Wait.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's an actual VHS.
Yeah, I just because I'm super nerd, like I have these protective cases for them. But
yeah. Ooh,
and it's a blockbuster.
And it's a blockbuster.
It's a fucking blockbuster,
dude.
I mean, but how great is Clarence Williams III in this movie? Holy fuck, man!
With hammed it up to the max.
When the demon tongue comes out
of the gap in his tooth,
in his tooth,
it makes me want to watch this fucking movie again, man.
And the way he always enunciated shit.
Yeah, he starts getting sweaty and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love.
So what else? What do you got for Black History horror? Huh?
I mean, Black History horror. I mean, I wanted to stay away from the usual suspects.
Oh, I won't.
Night of the Living Dead.
I won't.
And stuff like. I mean, one of the movies that actually kind of scared me when I was a kid when I first saw it, and also, I mean. Here's another thing too. When I was a kid and I would watch like these blaxploitation movies, like it actually kind of it wasn't that I don't think I was racist, but I thought they were like a different type of movie. Like, they had we had Hispanic movies and we had and you had like the blaxploitation movies, and I always thought they were it was just a different brand, like a different breed of movie.
Yeah.
And one of the movies that just tickled me and actually scared the shit out of me when I was a kid was Blackula.
Oh, okay.
A fucking Black Dracula?
Right.
Come on, man. Come on. I thought, honestly, when I saw that movie, that Dracula was actually scarier to me than Christopher Lee's.
Oh, big time!
The Hammer
wow, look
horror,
out!
Which I mean, the Christopher Lee fucking
big shoes
was fucking terrifying,
absolutely
terrifying. But it was also one of those movies where, again, if you don't watch it till later, and also I haven't seen the movie in years, but they revisited it in that documentary, that horror noir documentary, where I was like, holy shit! It was cool, like just the fact that it was they had the one actor, William Marshall, he played the lead, and he was just like a debonair, suave, good looking black dude, and he was this, Black Dracula, it was just, Pam Grier was in it. Pam Grier was just,
you love to see it,
the shit back in the day. The coffee and the women in prison movies and all that. Like she was the go-to.
Then had her big comeback with
actress.
Jackie Brown, man.
That's right. That's right. With Jackie Brown, God bless fucking Quentin Tarantino. And it's just, it was cool. And it was like an alternate story where the real Dracula turns, this dude, this African prince into his own version of Dracula.
Yeah.
It was cool. And it was a sign of the times too. It was a, 70s movie. And, you had the style of the 70s. And, when he turned, he went from being a good looking dude to when he vamped out, he had the facial hair, almost made him look almost like a wolf, like he was turning into like a werewolf almost.
That was the only part that got confusing for me.
Which was weird, like he grew the fucking facial hair. But I mean, all in all, like that movie was just, again, it was one of those sign of the times movies. It was a movie like they said in the documentary where they tried doing Black Frankenstein and like a Black Mummy and stuff like that, but those didn't really catch on. But with this one, it was a Black Dracula, but it was they respected
that's important.
The source material, and they respected just the character and everything. And it was just, I don't know, man. I fucking loved it. I fucking loved it. But that was one of the movies though. That's one of the quintessential, Black horror movies that also, I mean, a lot of normies have heard of Blackula.
Right.
When you think of, horror, Black horror, most people, a few people when I talk to about like what we were going to talk about this episode, I'm like, oh, we're going to talk about Black horror. Like most people were like, oh, like Us and Get Out and stuff like that. And more than a few people were like, oh, Blackula.
Yes. Yeah. Because it's like, that's in the culture now.
Sure.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, so speaking of horror noir, we should let people know it's a documentary tracing the history of Black horror, streaming on Shudder, and I recently found out there's an extended cut of the documentary on Shudder.
Is it an extended cut, or is it, because from what I saw on there, the extended is just a podcast?
Oh, really?
So I think it's
I haven't been able to access my Shudder for like 2 weeks because something's goofy with their login shit. But I mean, that was. So I'm not familiar with like the voodoo origins and stuff like that the documentary goes into. So I mean, I have a specific point, obviously with Night of the Living Dead is where I jump in with Dwayne Jones and stuff. But there was one movie in that documentary that I was really interested in horror noir that I haven't seen, which is that Ganja and Hess, which stars Dwayne Jones from Night of the Living Dead. Right. I definitely want to pick that up because that looks like something that would looks like it could be very cool. But I mean, to me, that's where I pick up is Night of the Living Dead and beyond, in terms of Black horror and stuff that. Just for my knowledge,
Yeah. I mean, another movie that try to be in the same vein as Blackula. Actually, I just pulled it up on my phone here. Was in 1995, of course, same year that Tales from the Hood came out. Wes Craven did Vampire in Brooklyn,
right?
Yeah, with Eddie Murphy. Yeah.
And you know what's funny? I thought as a kid that was not a horror movie.
Really?
Because because it was Eddie Murphy.
It was like a comedy, right?
So I'm thinking it's a comedy because Eddie Murphy's been on Saturday Night Live. Uh-huh. He's Coming to America. He's doing all these funny movies, and then he does Vampire in Brooklyn, and I was like, oh, it's just gonna be a throwaway funny. Now that's around the time we get Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Yeah.
So we're like getting
the
all
one
this
with Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, we're getting all this like goofy stuff. So that's what I thought was happening with that. And then somebody years later was like, "Oh no, this is like a legit horror movie that just Eddie Murphy happens to be in." So I have not seen it. But
I haven't. Me either. So
it was crazy.
Time for a watch.
It was directed by Wes Craven. I'm pretty sure that the effects were Rick Baker. Because Rick Baker and Eddie Murphy worked together on like a ton of movies like Nutty Professor and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, right? He did Nutty Professor.
Yeah. And I think he also did like the different prosthetics and stuff for Coming to America.
Oh, cool.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's even cooler.
And it's just like this movie, like it was awesome. Yeah, it did have like comedic elements because it had Kadeem Hardison from A Different World. He was also in one of those movies that they also talked about in the documentary Death by Temptation.
Oh yeah. That looks like another one I want to see. It looked very like a serious.
'Cause that's like the early 90s.
Yeah,
Right before,
Yep. And they had him. He played kind of like the Renfield character in Vampire.
Oh, cool.
Really? Also like undead. So like through most of the movie, he's like cracking like jokes in sarcastic ways, but he's also like falling apart.
Is it like a gory, bloody movie? Too? Okay.
It's not gory or bloody, but it's good. It's good. Also, you got Eddie Murphy, of course, plays multiple roles in it too.
That's cool,
which is pretty cool. And shit. But it's a great movie, and it has a cool ending with like Angela Bassett. She's just one of those fucking actresses. She's so good in everything. Ever since What's Love Got to Do with It, up until like she's on this show called 911 right now. Like she's awesome. And on top of that, I think she's actually made a deal with the devil because she is not aged in like 30 years.
Nope.
She looks exactly the same.
When she showed up in It's American Horror Story.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's what it was.
What?
Coven. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Hello.
Blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away because it's like literally
good.
like Stella, how Stella got her groove back,
Stella
right?
got her groove
it's
back.
like that movie came out and then she's just stayed the same age.
Waiting to exhale.
Yeah. Like, but yeah, because so she shows like that's some of the she shows up in Coven, right? And I feel as though like some of the stuff that they're trying to do with incorporating more minorities into oh my God, I said the name of it and I'm blanking on it right now.
American Horror Story.
American Horror Story. I feel like they kind of need to go a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we'll ever get it, but I mean, like, I feel like that would be a fun story.
Yeah, I think it all depends on who writes it and who directs it. Then you get a much deeper perspective on things like race. I think there's a ceiling for how far you can go as like a white person trying to write or direct like a movie dealing with social and race issues. I mean, clearly you can see that in Candyman. Like it hits a wall at a certain point. You know what I mean?
And so to that extent, or that comment rather, like the Watchmen podcast dives super deep into that. So, and they broke it up. So if you watch the first 3 episodes, they did an episode on the podcast that catches you up on it, right? That dives deep into the head writer, executive producer, and another guy that's like another writer, right? I can't remember their names right now, but it's the writer from Lost, right?
Is it Damon Lindelof?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah,
he specifically talks about what you're talking about, where it's like the writer's room was like 6 people, and I think 4 of them were women, and 4 of them were women, and I think another 4 were minorities. I think there was only like maybe two white people that were writing in the room, and I believe. So it's just one of those like you're saying, like you can't write that stuff. Like, and like they're the reason why they went down that
so
road,
like
it feels
powerful, right?
So I think that's why it's so like inauthentic sometimes. And you can totally tell when they're pandering.
For sure. Yeah.
And that's where I think what happens with Candyman, like towards the end, you're like, that is not where this is not where I thought this was gonna go. Because that would never fucking happen. Them all gathering around the burning, like no. Like that community would not do that.
It's really hard to buy Virginia Madsen's character as taking over like the Candyman mantle, like the boogeyman mantle. That's just, why would you do that? You had this whole cool movie about Cabrini Green and shit, and all that, Candyman's, origin story with slavery and all that, you know what I mean? It's like, why would you want to?
I think that's
now you're making it like about Helen now, like Helen's the centerpiece, you know what I mean? But I also want to quickly mention like the director Ernest Dickerson. He's made Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. Stars, Jada Pinkett Smith. We showed that at Terrors. That's that movie is a fucking awesome 90s horror movie. Like,
so good.
You can't, I feel like that's undeniable. Where that's cool, where Jada Jada becomes like the hero at the end.
She ends up,
which is like super cool,
quote unquote, the final girl.
Yeah, which is really awesome.
Oh, I always thought she was the demon knight. Like, because she fights the demons.
Because Knight is spelled Knight, so maybe she is. What is
she? I thought the Demon Knight was Billy Zane's character.
Is he? Whatever.
Yeah. Either way, she becomes the hero. Either way, she becomes a hero.
I don't know.
And I didn't have time, but I have it on VHS. I wanted to watch the other movie that Ernest Dickerson directed, a horror movie called Bones with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah,
from the early 2000s. I have it on tape.
Good one.
Yeah, I have it on tape. I didn't have a chance to watch it, but that was like something. Yeah, was it?
Own it too.
Yeah, I know it's coming out on Blu-ray actually soon. So really? Yeah, I'll probably if I don't watch it soon on the tape, I'll probably get that.
Do you guys miss Media Play?
Oh, I mean all the time.
Because like I feel like those the black horror movies, I feel like you could have found very easily at Media Play.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas now you can't really. Yeah. You gotta like go on to Amazon and they come to you with those beautiful Amazon bruises that I just love.
I fucking hate that shit, man. I fucking hate it.
I love it.
Fucking hate it.
Hopefully everybody senses the sarcasm.
Yeah, I definitely do. But yeah, it's cool that Ernest Dickinson got to do at least 2 horror movies within the genre. I can't really think of many other folks that, black directors who were able to do 2 horror movies.
It sucks because I know you're not into Marvel movies, but
nope.
There's a Doctor Strange sequel that's coming out. And it's Doctor Strange, I think in the Madness of the Multiverse, I think it's called, something like that. And Ernest Dickerson was supposed to direct the movie.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if he left the movie. I don't know if it was because of creative differences or what, but they were touting this as being Marvel's first horror movie. And Kevin Feige came out and said that it's not going to be a horror movie, but it's going to have scary elements to it. So they ended up getting rid of Ernest Dickerson for it.
Yeah, Sam Raimi.
They hired Sam Raimi for it, which doesn't make any sense. But
he's got a history of being a shill for Disney. So with like. He's Oz the Great and Powerful, and he did the Spider-Man thing.
Spider-Man
so
that was for Sony, bro.
That was for Sony, yeah.
Yeah, well,
it's not
and Spider-Man's part of the MCU now. So whatever.
Well, yeah.
You know what?
Sony let him borrow it.
Yeah, tuck that fake nerd.
You just puff on that, baby?
Yeah.
No, I was like, somebody tried to argue.
We are not CGI.
Was Spider-Man not in Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War? Yeah, I know how it goes.
This goes off the air. We'll explain to you what really happened.
Yes. Yeah. No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be fucking nerd-splained.
Oh, you're gonna get nerd-splained.
Wow.
I don't want to hear no nerd-splained.
You're gonna get nerd-splained. Peter, what actually happened?
I love Sam Raimi. I love Evil Dead, but Darkman's even good too. Please,
Darkman was good.
Like, I don't want him. To be involved in the MCU. Me personally. Good. I mean, that's cool, man. If you get it's great. You love to see people make money, get that paycheck hustle. Maybe he'll be able to make another horror movie like Drag Me to Hell or whatever. But I'm just not interested. Like, why would I care if Marvel's making this is our first MCU horror movie? I don't give a fuck. I'll watch an actual fucking horror movie. Why do I need to see like Marvel being a fucking cutesy skirt with it? It's not going to be like an authentic, bold horror movie.
All right.
Okay.
Damn.
Well,
Dormammu, I have come to bargain. Oh my gosh, when is this movie going to fucking end?
He wonders why I call him a snob.
Oh my God. A snob for fucking real shit, man.
Yes. All right.
Do you eat salmon when you watch your horror? Do you eat avocado on toast when you watch horror?
Caviar and crackers.
See, you guys want to criticize me, and I'm out here. I'm the fucking
Eugene,
Bernie.
my good man. How art
I am the Bernie of horror, and you guys. You know what? Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Keep feeding the fucking machine.
Dost thou die by venom?
Yeah. Keep feeding the machine. Keep giving Disney your fucking money.
Yes,
Keep giving Disney your fucking money until they own everything.
My denim is better
Feed
than
Disney,
thou.
feed Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah, keep everything cookie cutter. Yep. Let the big brands and corporations define your identity. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, Marvel's making a horror movie. Who gives a shit?
Clearly you do.
Who gives a shit?
Wow. I love it.
Dost thou dark buttons tied to the top?
Sam Raimi's gonna make it. Whoa, that changes things. No, it fucking doesn't. He's got to fit into the fucking mold, man. He's got to fucking fit into the rubric that Disney sets out for him, man. There's no freedom. There's no creative vision. It's movies by fucking what do you call it?
Committee.
Movies by fucking committee. That's what it is.
There you go. All right. Well,
Sorry.
Kind of got off topic now.
Wow.
Because no, it was Ernest.
We're talking about minorities, and you just swing it right back to be about you.
No way, man.
That's what you do.
It was because Ernest Dickerson was supposed to do in the Mouth of Madness or whatever, bro.
The multiverse of madness.
Whatever dumb shit name it's supposed to be a reference to. Who gives a fuck? Just call it Doctor Strange 2. Dormammu, Electric Dormammu, man. Who gives a shit?
Electric.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, who gives a fuck?
Oh my god.
Wow.
I gotta have you on Geeks That Lift.
Oh my gosh. No, you will not want me on that show, man.
Dude, I would love to hear that episode. What are you fucking nerds talking about?
Me calling big ass muscly Eugene a nerd.
I want you in between them.
Yeah, like a fucking sandwich, man.
Oh my god. That is awesome.
Leave it in the comments.
Oh my god.
Bring it over.
Fucking Star Wars.
Let's start a GoFundMe to get Peter on Geeks That Lift to talk about non-horror.
I would get a lot of probably hate mail. I would get a lot of hate mail.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Definitely get us some ratings.
I gotta wonder sometimes what these listeners think, because I feel like I'm on here, like I'm giving a tirade, I'm giving rants, you know what I mean? There's veins popping out, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm always standing on a hill, and I feel like I'm a man alone. You know, I'm an island. You know what I mean?
Omega Man.
Yeah,
I am legend.
I'm fighting these fucking battles, man. I'm trying to move this conversation to horror.
I think of him more as a Charlton Heston and like all those tracksuits. That's what I like to think. Like, where the fuck was he getting all those goddamn tracksuits? Different colors for different days, man. Yeah. And that weird like white makeup on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna go see fucking Black Widow? You really excited about that?
Oh my!
Are you counting down the days?
I don't like the Black Widow character. I am gonna go see the movie.
Yeah, of course, man, because you got to feed the fucking machine, man.
Whoa, he can't like what he likes. Yeah, fuck his favorite, right? Quoting Peter Vullo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck my favorite, right?
It's leaps and bounds between something like Tales from the Hood and like whatever fucking the Disney's churning out, man. They're not even the same, man.
That's uncalled for.
It's not equal, man.
You know what? But if we're gonna do this, but Black Widow is gonna get to the majority of people, and like hopefully those little girls are gonna be like, that's who I want to be. That's what I want to see.
So do you think that Disney is doing it from a place of a genuine progressive, being progressive? They're doing it so they can make money. They can make fucking money.
Yeah, but
so they can reach a wider audience and just steal money out of their back pockets,
that's like
bro.
saying you want every great band to stay local and not make it because they got signed to a major label because they sold out. Like, because they're putting food on their table, man.
See, I don't think no one's ready to hear the argument about what Disney's doing, man. Like the way they're buying up the movie like industry, and so they can Gestapo the little guy, just canceling screenings of like 20th Century Fox movies. You know what I mean? You want to show the Fight Club? No fucking way. You want to show some things that's going to be Oscar nominated later in the year? You have to play Aladdin. You have to play Lion King. You know what I mean? There was a school group that was showing a Lion King for their fucking their parent teacher conference shit fundraiser. Guess what? They send the fucking boot of the mouse in. You know what I mean? Like, where's my fucking money? You know what I mean?
$50.
Are you kidding me? And then people fucking eat it up like Disney's part of their fucking identity. Like fucking Star Wars, fucking Marvel. It's a manufactured identity that you're fucking buying that they made for you. And all you are is a fucking piggy bank for them to go back to over and over again. There's no way you feel the same way about The Force Awakens that you did about A New Hope. You know why? Because it was fucking George Lucas with one guy, one vision, shoestring budget, changing the way movies are. But now you watch fucking Rise of the Skywalker, who fucking gives a shit about that movie, man? Yeah. But it's not changing lives. It's not making fucking pop culture history the way A New Hope did, man. Because it's just because it's a well to go back to that springs money for a fucking evil empire.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
You care about climate change? You fucking think those amusement parks are good for the climate? You think when they make fucking Endgame that all those movie stars are flying on private jets all around the world? You know how fucked up taking a plane is for the environment? But no one gives a fuck because we got rid of plastic bags. We got rid of plastic straws. So somehow that's going to save the planet. But we're fucking supporting these mega $1 million movies that are fucking up the environment, man.
Because Jordan Peele was making one of these movies.
Oh, Jordan Peele, he's making comparatively small.
I'm trying to circle this program back.
See, but it's not the same. Me trying to like fight against Disney and then bringing up Jordan Peele, those two aren't on the same field,
you're dropping
man.
the bucket trying to fight against Disney.
But I will still fight to the death, man.
That's
saying
cool.
Try to think about it.
Spartacus.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
They're not on the same level, man. Jordan Peele is not comparable to something like Disney as an entity.
Yeah, okay. I will argue that because look at like Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell wanted to do Miracle, right? But he had to do Sky High because that's the deal with Disney. You have to do at least 2 movies. Like that's their contract, right? So it's like you got to do some of that shit, man. Orson Welles used to talk about that stuff all the time. The dude wanted to do theater nonstop, but he had to do those movies and do all that bullshit that he didn't want to do for radio.
One for me, one for them.
Exactly.
One for me, one for them.
That's what some of these people got to do, man. Like you think that like Scarlett Johansson's gonna pay the bills off of that horror movie she was in, like
Under the Skin,
right? Like she's got to do Black Widow, man. Like she's gonna walk like if you were like somebody's like throwing millions of dollars in your face to like do a movie, like you just get to walk up there and be an actor, and like the majority of it is just because of the way you look. Like you're gonna turn that down?
Me personally,
don't say yes.
It's like
you're not gonna turn it down.
It's
why can't we believe that perhaps people have some like ethical?
Do you know how many bands I have heard?
The whole artist integrity thing. I get
integrity,
it, and that's fine. But still, if you have, let's say you have 1 or 2 passion projects that you want to create and you want to do, and the only means that you're going to have to make these 2 passion projects is by selling your soul, quote unquote, to Disney, where you got to make some, I don't know, The Pacifier or The Tooth Fairy or one of these stupid fucking movies, and you make that movie for them. They'll give you the funds and everything to finance your passion project, you have creative control to do whatever you want on these 2 passion projects. You mean to tell me that if you get the chance to do that by making, a piece of shit, whatever, from Disney, you're not going to do that?
I think it's possible to make the movie you want the way you want to do it by not feeding yourself into the system. You think VFW had a high budget?
No.
Of course not. They worked with Fangoria. Whatever they did, it seems like they made the movie they want without any sort of like compromise. And I think it's possible to make a movie with what you have and really doing something powerful. And the way things are now, you can do crowdfunding. You don't need, there's streaming platforms. So it's easier, somewhat easier now to get your movie out there because of all the digital platforms that we have. I mean, sure. I mean, I want people to make their movies they want. If it comes to making one for me, one for them, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the way that we treat this stuff, like it is like this precious like little indie darling instead of this like world consuming corporate entity. You know what I mean? That's slowly swallowing up, more and more of the space for other movies and things like that. I mean, they're gonna start opening Disney theaters and stuff like that. What does that mean for a theater like mine, locally owned, locally run, independent films? I mean, I know everybody loves this shit. You love your Marvel, you love your Star Wars, and that's fine. But like, what is the effect of that shit having on the rest of the culture and society as a whole? I mean, I know no one wants to think about like what happens at the farm, with the cows and the pigs and shit like that. They just love the taste of the steak and the burger, But what goes on making the sausage? You know what I mean? Take a moment to think about what what it takes to make the sausage over at the fucking MCU or Disney or whatever. You know what I mean?
You know what? I understand where you're coming from, but I mean, when it comes to like Disney and stuff, with Disney, they're huge right now, and it seems like they're only going to get bigger. But I don't think that it's going to get so big that it's going to stomp out the little guy. I mean, for me, I'm a big proponent and a big advocate of competition. I think when it comes,
you can't compete against Disney though. You can't.
You can compete against Disney. I mean, right now it's just like in wrestling right now with WWE. WWE pretty much owns everything.
Sure.
But then you get upstarts like All Elite Wrestling that just started, which is going to give WWE now a run for their money. I mean, they're never going to take it over and beat them like WCW did. No, but I think competition breeds more content and more what's the word I'm looking for? Not valuable, but more
ingenuity,
innovation,
creativity. Yeah.
And I think with that, it's going to push other studios that like Sony or like other studios to make shit that's going to be either comparable to Disney stuff or better than Disney stuff. And I think it's going to, and by doing it, since Disney is all this machine, movie by committee type deal, it's going to push other studios to be like, all right, well, Disney's trilling out all this shit.
Let's make Joker.
Let's foster the indie people. Let's foster the low budget people, the struggling people. Let's get some new ideas. Let's get some new shit out there. I think honestly, with Disney fucking owning everything right now, in essence, it's going to help us out, or we're going to benefit from it because we're going to get cool shit like VFW that's that's coming out. I
think VFW can exist without like Disney in any way. I think that movie, I mean, that's a passion project that exists, without this false competition. I say false because there is no competition against that, against Disney. I mean, there was going to be a screening of Fight Club at the Little Theater last year. You know what? The 20th Century Fox, who owns Fight Club, Disney bought it up, canceled it. A lot of small theaters, man, get by on screening repertory stuff. Like Terrors, that's repertory theater, man. Playing the classics. You can't you can't screen Die Hard, you can't screen Alien, because all the 20th Century Fox shit owned by Disney. They put all that shit in the vault, man. You know what I mean? So now, like, sometimes, whether you like to think about it or not, you got to think of the effects of what the ripple effects of everything, and I know you're not ready for that, Dan. I know you're not ready for that conversation yet, but one day you're gonna have it. George Romero didn't need fucking Disney to make Night of the Living Dead. Evil Dead was made by getting money from a fucking dentist. You know what I mean, man? If you love something, you believe in it, you have the passion, you can fucking make it happen, man.
Yeah, but then he didn't get any of the benefits of it.
Who?
George Romero.
I mean, he got to make Dawn of the Dead. He got to make Day of the Dead and all those other movies. He learned from the mistake he did with that copyright shit with Night of the Living Dead in the future. I mean, it's not like Romero passed away, unfortunately, like a poor man or anything like that. I mean, he has got a timeless legacy. Romero will always be part of the conversation in horror. You know what I mean? So the shit he went through with Night of the Living Dead, whether he made a ton of money or not, whatever, but he will always be part. He's pretty much immortal. You know what I mean? In terms of the conversation of horror. But so whether he made a ton of money or not off of that one particular movie is irrelevant, because his shadow will always loom for generations on horror like it has.
Which That's fine. And I get where you're coming from and all that, but then you look at the other side of the coin, though. You get somebody like Tobe Hooper, who, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is obviously
independent movie.
But I don't think with Tobe Hooper, I think him, they gave, I don't know, not that they gave him chances, but I think he's very underrated, even though he created Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Did he direct Gremlins?
No, you're thinking of Poltergeist, I think.
Poltergeist.
Yeah.
I mean, where they gave
Steven Spielberg.
Spielberg came in, finished it, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
But
debatable, but he gets the credit.
Yeah, but it's just, for me, it's just, it seems like it's the same thing. It's you know, you got Romero got to do his thing, and
Carpenter too. I mean, in independent film, Halloween. I mean, I don't know. The shit that excites me, man, the really cool shit is not going to be made by committee.
Which I understand, but I think in terms of being, I don't know, like, I think success wise, I think that's what Dan was trying to say, where these guys should be able to make what they want to make, but it's also got to be profitable, where they make a decent amount of money off of it. It's kind of like the same thing where they kind of become like Carpenter. Yeah. You know, he's super famous. He's well known in the horror community, but for all intents and purposes, though, he's still like, most of his movies are cult movies. They didn't do that well first release.
Yes, I can agree with that.
They didn't garner following until later.
Sure.
So he really didn't make a lot of money, and it's not till now that they're purchasing the rights, like Blumhouse purchased the rights for Halloween.
Yeah, he's going on tour and stuff.
Yeah, and stuff like that. But it's to me, it just sounds like you're okay with, you know, you got the movies, the independent, the visions, the creative visions. As long as they have like the whole starving artist thing going, like once somebody makes a if Carpenter were to make, let's say, a Disney movie, you wouldn't go see it?
Of course I would. I would see it. Yeah. Because of Carpenter.
Because it's Disney?
I mean, I would support it because of John Carpenter. I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm like morally or ethically pure in any way, but I think if we want to have there's levels of the playing field. So anything that's going on in horror with the playing field is not level to bring in the conversation of Disney. You know, I just don't think it's the same thing. And I think, you know, and I know I'm not living in the right society, but how much money do you fucking need at the end of the day?
Oh, for somebody who doesn't have any money?
I don't have any fucking money. I mean, yeah, of course. But it's like, is there, you know... See, man? I'd burn it the fuck down, man.
If Disney wanted to sponsor this podcast, I'd be all for it.
See... Yeah. Yeah, there's stuff I can't say.
Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Because you don't change things from the outside, you know?
So are you saying Trojan horse to Disney?
There you go.
You try to be a Trojan horse to Disney, you get fucking fired. What happened to funny guy from Shaun of the Dead when he was trying to direct the Ant-Man movie? What the fuck is his name?
Oh, Edgar Wright.
Gone. You know what I mean? The people who were originally going to write or direct Solo, the Star Wars story, gone. You know what I mean?
The guys who did
Ernest Dickinson, gone. You know what I mean? So, I mean, hey man, keep being part of it, dude. That's cool. Good for you guys, you know?
Disney, I'm open for sponsorship.
There's no fucking thing. There's no such thing as geek culture anymore. The shit that you guys love, that is the culture right now. It is the mainstream culture.
Yeah, but it's geek culture.
No, it is
because the people who were into the shit that we were into when we were kids, comic books, Star Wars, all that shit, they're the tastemakers now. They're the ones that are bringing all the shit that we grew up with and loved, putting it on a big screen for the mass media, the general audience.
Yeah, so do you think those movies would be successful if it was just you mouth breathers seeing those movies? Everybody is seeing them. Everybody is seeing that shit. And that's why we're making billions of dollars. These are global phenomenon.
Everybody's seeing it because these people are putting it out there.
But so when I hear,
look, this is what
nerds
found cool here. Maybe you'll find it cool too. And it just so happens that they are finding it fucking cool.
So I'm saying that nerd and geek doesn't. So when I hear those words, it makes me think of like, oh, here's this thing that only a very small select group of people have heard of and like, and to them it's very important, right? Am I wrong with that general assessment? Okay, nope. Probably not. So I'm saying there's no way on this fucking earth that Marvel Star Wars is this little thing that only a certain group of people like and appreciate and they're really passionate about. It is the fucking, it's like billboard culture, man. It is the McDonald's of fucking culture.
It's turned into that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying it's not geek. It ain't geek shit no more, man.
Yeah, but the first, like, you think about it, when the first Iron Man came out, there with John Favreau, so when he started this whole thing, it wasn't a big Disney, machine. It was Iron Man, which was a lesser known character.
Sure.
Wait a minute, why the fuck are we even talking about this on a horror podcast?
Hey, man, I don't know. We're here. We're talking. It's up to you what you want to do with it, man.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm just saying, it just, you know what? It started as something that it was culty because it was like geek and nerd culture stuff that started, and it just so happened to blow up because, like I said before, the people who were into the shit that we were into when they were kids are the tastemakers now, and they're the ones that brought it up. So shit that we were interested in, that we were fucking made fun of for being interested in when we were kids, are now being just devoured by general audiences now. And it's because people that run Disney and that run these other studios, they're the one. It's the shit that they were into. They're like, you know what? I was into this. I was into Thundercats. Here you go, boom. I'm into Power Rangers. Here you go, boom. Like all the shit that was big back then. It's coming out, and it's because the people that are in power right now, that's the shit that they were into.
And they want to make money.
Of course, they want to make money. Who doesn't want to make money? You don't want to make money?
No, of course I want to make money. I want to be able to live and not worry about paying the bills.
Me too.
I mean, I'm a simple ass dude, believe it or not. I'm a simple ass dude. I mean, you've been to my apartment, nothing. It's nothing crazy. I'm not glamorous in any way. But all I'm saying about this, I'm burning a lot of fucking incense, a lot of patchouli at my fucking house, a lot of hemp and fucking. But anyway, the geek thing is like maybe back in the day it was your thing. It was like your Cosa Nostra. It's our little thing that you're into. Your boys, maybe you love the comic books or whatever. You and whatever, but. It doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to the fucking, you know what I mean? It doesn't belong to anyone anymore. It's not this like cute little thing. It's a product now. You know what I mean? It's a backpack that you buy at fucking Kmart. You know what I mean?
Kmart's closed.
Is that Kmart on Hurdle? Is that not open? Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Burn it all fucking down, man. Burn it down.
Burn down the establishment.
I have been inundated.
Pat, you're gonna have to edit this whole fucking rant out and just put it on our Patreon as a fucking bonus episode.
I have been inundated for 20 years now with this superhero shit. I was there, probably similar to you and maybe Dan, of watching the Spider-Man, Tobey Hooper Spider-Man, the X-Men. They were all coming out the early 2000s, right? I was a little ass kid. It was exciting back then to see him. But now for fucking 20 years, I cannot walk outside of my house without just being bombarded with this shit, man.
Now, if horror was getting churned out the way that superhero movies are getting churned out, would you have the same stance? If they're fucking as soon as you step out your door, it's horror, 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 horror at Walmart, horror at Tim Hortons, horror everywhere, horror Happy Meals.
Yeah.
Would you be singing the same tune right now?
It Chapter 1 and 2 was the closest we got to horror reaching those levels,
and it was awesome.
And I would be excited to see horror have the same shelf space as these other things because I'm so unaccustomed to it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That horror has such a trivial slice of the pie that it would be great to get that new and fresh thing there that has been shut out. That's why when I make these arguments against the fucking Academy Awards and shit and the Oscars, man, that people put these on this pedestal, but the shit is not for us, man. You know what I mean? John Carpenter's The Thing is like this renowned horror movie, right? Masterpiece. Didn't win no fucking Academy Award, you know what I mean? But it is still valuable. It is still an important thing, you know what I mean? And so, I mean, I got a lot of different opinions about the way we value these big fucking like corporate Hollywood institutions, man, that like you guys just aren't ready for it yet, but your kids are going to love it, you know?
God damn.
This guy.
Wow.
That was
I
think that was
intense.
30 minutes.
That was like 24 minutes.
24 minutes.
I hate it, man. I fucking hate it.
Wow.
I think I need to put you on Table Smack.
Fucking hate it. And I'm so glad that like nobody gives a shit about Black Widow coming out. Like you don't feel the excitement for it. It's just like it's coming out, and some people are going to see it because you feel obligated to. But after that,
I mean, like, what if you're looking at like numbers just in general? Like what happened with Spider-Man: Homecoming is you're probably going to see that continue because they killed Robert Downey Jr.
Well, yeah, the story. I mean, the end game. The story that ended with Endgame is over now. So I don't. I used to feel like I had to see them to be part of the cultural conversation.
Yeah.
And now that Endgame has come and gone, I feel like there's this huge weight off of me that I no longer have to see these because I'm not interested in the story anymore. I'm not want to watch no fucking Loki TV show to understand what the fuck is going on in the movie. Disney is trying to like control every aspect of like they want you to watch their shows in order to understand what's going on in the movie. Like they want you to be this captive audience that is like you won't even be able to just go see their movies anymore and have any idea what the fuck is going on because they want you to play for your fucking Disney Plus. But I'm not going to go see Black Widow. You can fucking count on that, man. Bet your bottom dollar that I don't give a fuck about Black Widow, and I will not be supporting that shit.
Peter will go see La La Land before he goes sees.
You're damn right.
Black Widow.
You're damn right.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I mean, like, it's so visceral.
It is.
I don't know what it is about it. It's just something.
Is it because they started gobbling up everybody?
That and because it's like the way we love. It's hard to explain. It's like people. So the way there's the arguments online about like comic book movies and this whole geek culture thing, you know what I mean? People and Star Wars, people are defending it like it's this small little precious baby that only they know about, you know what I mean? But really it's this mass marketed fucking product. It's not your fucking identity. You know what I mean? Is your identity so closely wrapped up with Disney? You know what I mean? That you can't criticize it.
Did you collect comic books as a kid, or did you?
Yeah, I have a box of comic books at home right now that I've had for 25 years.
But were you like a regular comic book fanatic?
I was never a fanatic. No,
like Spider-Man, X-Men, Superman, Batman, Justice League.
As a kid who grew
Avengers, any of those.
As a kid who grew up in the 90s, I watched all those cartoons. Like the Spider-Man cartoon, the Batman one. I come home from school and watch that. I bought the trading cards and shit. From back in the day. I bought the action figures. But I was a child at the time. You know what I mean?
It's just. Again, the reason that I love these movies and I love the Marvel movies is because I was a huge comic book nerd when I was a kid. I mean, on top of being like a geek for everything and in terms of horror and everything else, like I was into a lot of shit. But with comic books, again, we haven't had a good comic. Again, the last 20 years, you said we've been inundated with comic book movies and comic book movies that are doing well.
Yeah,
and it's because most of the audience, a lot of the audience are people like me who were raised on this shit. And
you guys don't have the numbers, man.
We don't have the numbers, but you know what? People our age actually have kids.
Sure.
And kids who are like, oh shit, this is like perfect example. Kat. She wasn't a horror fan before her and I met.
Yeah.
She's never been to horror movies. She's only seen maybe once or twice. It wasn't until I started bringing her to terrors that she became a horror fan.
Sure.
And I started turning her on to all these movies.
Right.
And now she's pretty much a full-fledged horror fan.
Beautiful thing.
But that's it. Yeah, well, of course.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the same thing. Like, if I was I mean, I am a big comic book fanatic, but that's one of the things I don't force that on her. But if I did force it on her, she'd be a fan also, and that's just the thing. That's what it is right now. Again, the people that are in their 30s and their 40s right now, this is all the shit that we grew up. And that we visualize, and we were hoping, like when we were kids. Oh, wouldn't it be cool to watch a fucking a movie with Spider-Man or the Hulk or Captain America fighting, or Thor fighting the Hulk? Like all the shit that we would used to talk about. Now it's being realized.
Sure.
Now it's being churned out.
Sure.
And because it's popular, of course. It's at the end of the day, it's all about making a buck. Yes. Yeah. But it's making a buck using nostalgia.
Sure.
And shit that we loved and shit that we liked when we were kids.
Sure.
But again, I find it hard to believe that if it wasn't comic book movies, that if it was horror movies that are having this not even a resurgence, just a surgence for the last 20 years, you wouldn't be singing the same tune that you're singing right now.
I mean, that's a hard hypothetical, but I think if it was Disney churning out horror, I would have a problem with it. I think, it's all about
if they were churning out Disney horror, but I'm just saying, like, the thing with the comic book movies is that these movies are being done well and being done right. These movies are pretty much the stories coming from the page directly up into the screen.
Sure.
And with the fucking special effects and all, and it's big budget. Again, if there were horror movies that are coming out, getting churned out, like It and It Chapter 2.
Huge, big budget things.
Clean that shit up.
I mean, but we don't live in that world.
No, we don't live in that world.
We don't live in the world.
It's still a hypothetical, though.
Sure.
I'm just saying, I'm talking from, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the Marvel movies.
Sure.
I'm a fan of the Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of all that shit. And the reason I am such a huge fan is because they're tapping into my fucking, my childhood.
Yeah.
They're tapping into this shit.
Sure.
And it's shit that I've been into.
Right.
Where again, and if it was horror, I'd be eating this shit up too.
Sure.
But
I mean, I clearly digest everything horror that I can. Yeah. So, I mean, but I look at horror differently. I don't look at it as a big corporate like entity. A lot of the movies that we all love are very low budget, independent movies. But another thing regarding this, like Marvel, like Star Wars stuff, is also the fan bases are. Obviously, horror has its problems too in its community, but those things are a fucking nightmare, man. It's a fucking nightmare, bro. And
I'll agree with that.
And it's not, it's great. I mean, I'm sure it's exciting to see these characters fight and have the special effects that they do, but it's also a cultural fucking black hole, man. I mean, it's inescapable. Like no person is an island, but like it's just this constant like I just want to be sheltered for like one day, like where it wasn't like fucking Star Wars or like Iron Man or Thor. Like you guys love that shit, but like some people just want to exist, and like I want to like go to work and like just and not have to like here's fucking Iron Man flying at me, here's a lightsaber, like I don't fucking care. I wish it was back to being geek culture. I wish it was back to being this little thing that only like a small group of people liked. You know what I mean? I just think it's like it's been just a total nightmare. It's like. We've had those movies at the theater. We had Endgame, and I know how people watch it. It's only anecdotally, but people just went there because that's what they felt like they had to do. Like they would come out and they would be on their phones. Like one woman had her child on a what do you call it? A
iPad or something.
Yeah, like on a tablet while they were watching Endgame. They were watching a different movie. People don't. Not everyone, of course. There's very passionate people like you and Dan who love this garbage, but there's other people who is like they just see it because they feel like they have to, and there's no real there's no real what is the word, passion for it, substance, you know what I mean? Like it's just something that you like pump into your brain, and then that's it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't sustain you. You just you get inundated with lights and colors and sounds, explosions, and that's it. You get just blah, with.
So you agree with Marty Scorsese then?
I mean, I think the way he put it was kind of shitty, and I think I think if the movies are powerful and effective to you, then it's important. If you think that Endgame is a wonderful film, and that was really affecting and it made you cry, I wouldn't say that that's bullshit. I do think people should like what they like. I think it's very important that if you love that shit, go out there, man. Fucking support it, right? Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I wouldn't say that that's not cinema. That's not me. I wouldn't say that. I would say that shit is not for me personally.
Yeah.
And I will fucking scream that shit from the mountaintops. But I wouldn't prevent you from watching that shit and loving it. And that's where I differ from Scorsese. I think if it affects you as the individual viewer, then that is cinema. You know what I mean? Because it's important to you. It's in the eye of the beholder. So when you see that shit, like you see Star Wars, I bet you that was really impactful for you, but it wouldn't probably have the same effect on me, but I wouldn't say that's not cinema or anything like that. I just don't want to fucking have anything to do with it, but you should.
All right.
Sorry. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Dan's just been mute for this whole thing.
Dude, you are the worst at arguing. The absolute worst.
How?
Hey, blah, 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 X, Y, and Z, but your shit's garbage? That's not how you have an argument.
I never said that.
Yes, you did.
Or debate.
Oh, I was teasing.
Your mouth breathers? Yeah.
Yeah, I was teasing. I'm just saying that if you know.
No, I know what you said. You said it for 24 minutes, bro. I get it
now.
Look, I all fully believe if you love it, you should have it. You should. I mean, look, if you love it, that's cool, man. But I should also say, hey, man, get that shit away from me. You know what I mean? We could coexist, man. That's the thing. Really, it's a message of coexistence.
Dude, there's shitty people in every group of small things.
Okay. What about that woman whose character was introduced in The Last Jedi? I forget her name.
Oh, Jesus, I'm not doing that.
But she had, her.
Just actually.
Yeah, Rose Tico.
My phone just picked up what he was saying.
Yeah.
That's so
wow. They're listening, bro. They're fucking listening. But she had to get off Twitter, man. Inundated, man. I don't like Ryan Johnson myself, but that dude is constantly getting hate mail and fucking tweets and shit all the time, bro. You think anyone is fucking sending David Gordon Green hate mail, the director of Halloween 2018?
Probably.
In the same amount and volume as Ryan Johnson is getting?
Well, there's not as many fans.
Yeah, right. And the kind of fans is like a whole different ballgame, man. What's the runtime on that?
3 hours.
Wow, this is gonna have to be a two-parter.
Dude,
Peter goes off the deep end.
Jesus.
No, whatever, man. I made my piece. You're the Star Wars guy among us.
What about it?
Whatever, man.
I think this episode is going to have to be split in like a two-parter.
Or fucking, yeah, right? Or just cut out the nerd part and put it on Geeks That Lift.
And put it on Geeks That Lift or something.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
No, buy your identity. Go to the Disney store and buy your fucking identity, man.
Holy shit.
Whoa, dude.
Damn.
Dude. Hilarious.
Fright Rags isn't the same as the Disney store, bro.
Oh my God. They're just as expensive.
Get the fuck out of here. We know the guy from Rochester, fucking the Fright Rags, bro.
Dude, don't come
because it's a local guy making high quality ass shit.
Listen, I agree. I'm wearing a fucking Fright Rag shirt right now.
Yeah, man.
Most of my horror shirts are Fright Rag shirts.
This ain't going down on wax. You ain't gonna
Holy
get me
moly.
you ain't gonna get me saying stupid shit.
Look, man, your lack of saying anything is saying more than enough.
No, I could go.
More than enough.
Wow. So Black Horror.
Very important.
February.
Very
Black
very
History
important.
Month.
February.
That's right.
Man, that was a great episode. Wow. That's where you should cut in, is that part, Pat.
Yeah.
Cut all that other bullshit out.
Hey, you can erase it. It doesn't mean it didn't happen, man.
Oh, yeah, because it sure shit ain't time I'm getting back.
Nope.
Jesus.
So did you have any other movies that you wanted to talk about?
No,
don't. That's it. We're good.
Please don't.
No. I just real quick. Dawn of the Dead.
God damn it.
Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, Ken Foree. He's starring in it. He's an action star. Very important. I mean, we talk about him all the time,
dude.
but Jordan Peele, very important. Get out, us.
I gotta go to bed.
Fine. All right, I'm done when you guys are done.
Jesus.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you're still listening. 3 hours and 15 minutes later.
It's an endurance test.
It is an endurance test. This will probably take you guys a couple of days to listen.
Hey, I just want to say real quick. I recently watched Chernobyl, the HBO limited series. I loved it. 5 episodes, incredible.
You fucking Mark, shut up.
Incredible. Incredible. We should have a Chernobyl universe, cinematic universe.
I knew it.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's why I said what I said, because I knew it.
Get out of here. Whoa, man, all the stories are connecting, bro.
Oh, my God.
I knew it was coming.
God.
We could call it the natural disasters. That could be your cinematic.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, guys, obviously you can see we're very tired, except for Peter.
Peter did coke before this.
Peter did lots of drugs before this.
Bumpity bump, man.
Some hype. Lots of hype.
Bumpity bump.
Is there anything you guys want to promote? Want to push before we still got Thursday Night Terrors going on?
Yes, we got Toby Hooper. Speaking of Toby Hooper, the Funhouse on March 19th. I think it'll be safe to say that we'll also be having A Quiet Place 2 at the theater at the Amherst. It'll be exciting. Dan and I are working on many great projects for terrors that we haven't yet announced, but there are many logs in the fire, and we're looking forward to getting things out there. March 19th, the Funhouse, Maximum Overdrive, April, and then we got Prom Night in May. Follow me on the social media. I'm at Peter from the Theater on Instagram. I'd love to hear from the listeners of Terror Trio. Thursday Night Terrors is on Instagram and so Twitter, Facebook. Love to hear from this your wonderful listenership.
What about you, Dan?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Cheery Nightmare.
Great art over there.
Yeah.
Awesome. And guys, if you guys want
local artist here.
That would sell out to Disney in a second.
You fucking shill, because you're a fucking shill,
both, my friend. So guys, I really want to hear what your comments are on this episode. So you can reach us at terrortrio@gmail.com, or you can go on any of the social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and that's about it. Also, we're on the YouTube, so you can go on YouTube on the Beefmaster Network channel. And if you want to support, we do have a Patreon on patreon.com/Beefmaster Network. So that's it. This has been pretty fucking crazy. It went totally off the rails. I knew this was going to be a long one. I just didn't think it was going to be this long.
This was really exceptional for us.
Yes. So, thank you for coming on.
Question mark
again. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Eugene.
Really
appreciate
long one.
it. Thanks for having me.
So thanks
for having us.
Thank you, Peter, for the temporary Terror Trio. I'm Eugene. Talk to you next time.